Let's check out 1992's The Thing. Oh, wait, The Thing? Oh, that's offensive to The Things. No, no, no. This movie that we're reviewing has another title that I'm going to be using, Severed Ties. Severed Ties was a horror comedy produced by Fangoria Films, a production company from Fangoria and Starlog magazines, which was started to enter Fangoria into the horror VHS boom. They made 3 direct-to-VHS movies in as many years before ceasing work. One was Mind Warp with Bruce Campbell, the next was Children of the Night with no one, and then there was Severed Ties, with a couple of faces you may recognize, and a lot of ideas that you've seen in other movies. Severed story, under whichever movie title you prefer, concerns Harrison, and no, I didn't stutter there, that's his name, a boy scientist who is working to finalize a revolutionary limb-growing process. Oh, 1 second, sorry. Oh man, that's Frankenhooker. Whoops. How'd that get in there? Oh, well, anyway, Harrison's father created the roots of the substance responsible for the cloning, plasmid, and Harrison is being pushed by his mom and her evil lover to finalize the serum so that they can sell it to an evil German lab called Nordkim. Oh, wait, sorry, that's footage from Swamp Thing. Jesus, how'd that happen? Oof, twice, that's weird. Well, anyway, the plasmid process involves smashing lizards, called labzards here, kind of creatively, serial killer corpses and chemicals together, and then injecting the resulting substance into your body and, well, waiting to see what happens. This all sounds very safe and wise, and it's a great time to have it injected into your body, I'm sure. It's like 75% organic, no worries here. After a spat with his mother and her evil boyfriend, Harrison gets his arm sliced off. He then runs away to have a good cry and is forced to use the plasmid to inject himself. Surprise, his arm regrows and keeps growing, becoming a weird sort of symbiotic parasite that lives in a hole in his chest. Ugh. Oh wait, sorry, that's the lizard from Spider-Man. Jesus, shit. Well, anyway, Harrison's arm creature is now a hand with a lizard tail, basically. And of course, since it contains serial killer mojo, it tends to kill people if left unattended. From here, Harrison meets a series of strange and sweet characters. Sorry, that's a scene from Freaked. Anyway, he reformulates his serum, grows an army of hands, and comes into final conflict with his mother over his serum and his future. In the end, it's a job only a hand can do. Severed Ties, it's fun. It's a fun bit of horror that, if you can't tell by now, it's very dearly trying to be Reanimator or Frankenhooker or the eventual Freaked, which will come out later. It's not as great as those titles, but this movie is freaky enough to sit amongst them in a group of weirdo, gross-out horrors from the late 80s and early 90s. Severed is weird, it's wild, it even features people like Johnny Legend, who was associated with Andy Kaufman apparently, playing weird sewer preachers. There's wacky gore, but not quite enough to make it as treasured as your favorite Stuart Gordon flick. Still, what is there in the movie is good, and it should be because Fangoria magazine is making this, and they should be experts, right, with how much they write about horror movies. That said, the movie kind of drags at the start when it's not squishing lizards. I really didn't like the family intrigue story between Harrison, his mother, and her lover. It just felt nasty, and as I didn't really know who these people were, I had no reason to like them or these scenes. It's also kind of boring. And that's sad, because these are 2 of the movie's most well-known actors in The Mother and the Lover, Oliver Reed and Elka Sommer, who you've seen in other films, I wager. In fact, Elka said one of my favorite things that I've seen about this movie. She said that Severed Ties is a hell of a lot better entertainment for young people than Steven Seagal films, for example, which are about nothing but breaking bones. As right as she is, still, Severed Ties really didn't transform into a worthwhile creature until about halfway through, when it went away from the drab and nasty family drama that Elka and Oliver were in, unfortunately. I was fully ready to come into this review, ready to rip this movie apart with a handful of truly awful puns. But I found the introduction of the sewer full of supporting characters, like Garrett Morris as Stripes, who you've also seen in some other movies like The Stuff, plus some memorable soundtrack music and some decent humor to really be where Severed Ties surprisingly starts to come together and shine. It changed my mind like I'd just gotten a lizard booster shot. I started to like some of these characters really legitimately. I liked their interactions, and I liked the funny scenes that came from their performances as we find them here in the sewers. And I think you might too, if you're brave enough to just take a stab with the plasmid. Oh, fuck, sorry, that's Reanimator. Anyway, I have to give Severed Ties 3 labzards out of 5. What is the sound of one lizard hand monster flapping?
All of these things are designed to frighten a monkey.